Yinka Adebayo is my name, Group Executive Director for Omnicom Media Group, West and Central Africa. Well, for me, it's not just building for building's sake. The question is, even the foreign platform that we are using, is it in any way wrong? No. If it's not broken, why fix it? It's just for us to be a bit more intentional and much more purposeful in our approach to how we use this platform, because this platform enables us to have greater access and easy access, of course, to the global community. And I think our ability to be able to use it maximally and equally understand how well the algorithm operates, the better for us, really, because we really need that inroad opportunity for us to actually use those platforms. And it's been serving us for years. So really, it's just a matter of us bringing it, but making sure that it's locally relevant to our own use and ensuring that the kind of information we extract therefrom are things that will be beneficial to us. So for me, there's no point, because those formats are actually developed, and it's not something that's restricted to the developed market alone. We can bring it here, but make sure that we use it in a way that is constructive, that is meaningful, and the output is something that will be beneficial to us. Yeah, I think a couple of things that we do in in that space, really, is something that we've been doing almost like gratis. That things like, apart from the issue of advert revenue, there are also opportunities for locations, venue, and all. These are visibility, and these are things that actually can be, revenue generating opportunities for content owners. And I think we need to be a bit more intentional to say, hey, after rewriting our script, where are the elements that we can actually commercialize to make more money? A couple of things that we do in our content and things that we give out almost for free without really getting revenue for it. I think that's one aspect. Then in terms of platform usage to chunk it out too, I think we need to make sure that when our content are well researched and we have content that will appeal to the target audience that we seek to address, then of course you are giving content that people are not only going to warm up to, they are going to embrace it. If you have something of that quality and of that value, and you position it very well in terms of whichever platform you intend to use for it, I think the right value in terms of monetary, in terms of, even in terms of appreciation, will naturally gravitate towards you. But you find out that many of us have quality content, but the way we even push it out there is something that those who are taking off us are almost saying it like they don't really appreciate the value you bring to the table, because it's often being viewed as if you are begging to be accepted. But when you know the quality you've made, everything is up to international standard, the quality, the lighting, the production is up to standard, even the content itself in terms of quality of story is something that will appeal to me. And you're able to show reason, and you're able to show the value. Because the only thing I know that people don't run away from in life is value. Because once value is on the table, people will begin to appreciate, and they are more than happy and ready to pay the right price for it. So we need to be a bit more intentional. We need to be more purposeful. We need to start with the end in mind. This is the content I put. This is where I'm putting it to, and begin to now fine-tune your offering in a way that is suited to that particular platform. And of course, it becomes more rewarding for those content producers to see how they maximize the opportunity. Well, for me, AI and the rest of them is not, we need to be careful. Yes, we embrace it because the whole world is going that route. But even before you begin to talk of artificial intelligence, there is also the critical aspect, which is the emotional intelligence. How well endowed are we in that aspect? Because really, you see, when you look at the developed client, if a white man tells you A is A. But for the African man, if he tells you A, it might actually mean B, it might actually mean C. And the only thing that can give you that kind of insight is actually emotional intelligence. So the data being put together by AI is good to use. It's something that will give us a sense of direction. But we need to now begin to, it's more like what they say, think global but act local. How do we begin to localize it? How do we begin to make sure that the data that is being fed into artificial intelligence is something that speaks to us, and not just something that is important to us? Because you need to begin to situate this thing within the context of where you want to use it. AI can give information. Recently, I was asking AI about Yinka Adebayo, that's my name. And he was telling me Yinka Adebayo is a singer. I've never been a singer. But perhaps you never know the Yinka Adebayo speak somewhere. So we need to be careful on how we embrace some of these things to say, hey, don't just take it high and consume it hook, line, sinker. We need to digest it, distill it, and make sure that it's relevant to us. And that relevance is something that I think we need to do. And the earlier we start getting on board, one, develop the emotional intelligence to know that though the African climb, there is always the story behind the story. So behind whatever analytics, we equally need to be part of that show by making sure that we contribute immensely to the data that's been being gathered for here, because it's all about algorithm, and what you feed in is what you get out. So do not make sure that we have the right inputting so that when we extract information from here, it's something that will be beneficial to us and not something that is foreign or strange to our client. Well, I think the point you raised about all of them working in silos, I think it's an African thing where we believe this is we're a bit territorial, this is my territory, you don't want anybody to make incursion. No. But the beauty of the global language of business is collaboration. Nobody knows it or nobody has it or nobody can be able to cover all. Because when you see, you find out that each organization, whether it's media house, agency or whatever, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. If I know my area of strength, I don't need to dabble into any other area. It's just a matter of looking who has the other strength, where I'm weak. And we can see it. And that's why you have things like outsourcing and all of that. We collaborate because oftentimes when you collaborate like that, I focus on my own area of strength, you focus on your own area of strength, all the other organizations to focus on their strength. And that. By the time we bring it all together, we can actually unleash the potential of the market that we operate in. But when we operate in silo, you are just getting a small size of the pie, which is not beneficial to everybody. So we are unable to develop the market the way it's ought to be. So collaboration is global name of language, and that's why you find out that the phone we are using, there are so many contributors to it. Yes, it might just be Samsung phone, but when you look at a couple of other components, a couple of other things goes into it. And I think the earlier that African businessmen or business owner, media owner begin to open their mind to say, hey guys, this is my own area of strength. If I take for instance now, if a media organization says, oh, I'm specializing in entertainment, there are others who are specializing in sports, and I need the sports news. Why do I need to begin to dissipate energy and maybe recruiting somebody to say, hey, cover sports? Why not say, okay, fine, entertainment is my, but if I need sports, I will look up to you, give me that sport. But when it comes to entertainment, rely on me. By that, you are able to take advantage of where you are area of strength, maximize and make sure that you continually deepen yourself in that area, so that we know that when it comes to this particular area, you are the professional. But when it comes to others, we need to reach out. So collaboration is the name of the language, and the earlier we start to embrace it, the better for us as African, because that's the only way we can begin to unleash the potential of the African continent to the global village. Well, I think for me, really, the platform locally, we are yet to even come up with anything. And then the earlier we do it, the better. But even for the ones that we have, it's not like I think it boils down to the fact that if our content is in high demand, I think it's just for us to see how we now begin to say, hey, rather than continue to feed our content into other foreign platforms and supporting them, yeah, it's good to go at the starters, because in life, what you don't taste, you don't miss. It's only when the global community begin to experience what we have to offer, and they will probably gravitate towards the platform they already know as a starter, which we have done very well. But now bringing it home to now say, we now begin to look at, yes, all those platforms, we find out that many of the brains behind this are Africa. How can we now begin to develop something our own? And it's not just developing it. And this is where territoriality comes in. So it's not just developing it, it's equally the willingness of the content producer to go that route and make sure they are getting the right value, they are getting the right benefits. And this is the situation where this is actually an opportunity where a businessman can actually come. If those other platforms, foreign platforms have done very well, and we know that our content is what they are demanding, what stops us from developing our own and putting enough money behind it so that many of our content producers know they are going to get good reward, is easily accessible, and it's something that will project and it's positioned very well. You see, positioning oftentimes is not what you do to the product, it's what you do to people's mind. How you are positioned will determine how you are received. If you position it very well with adequate funding, adequate backing, and that content, our content that is being demanded globally, is now being fed into it at the right time, in the right quantity, and in the right quality as well. Naturally, people in no time, they don't hold loyalty to anybody. In fact, many of the people who patronize someone, they don't even know the owner. It's just to say, hey, this is what I want, and wherever it is, I'll go for. If we position our own platform, if we develop our own platform, position it very well with all the necessary support, and ensuring that those who feed content into it are adequately and fairly rewarded, then of course naturally it will go. For us as OMG, I think to a large extent we've supported many of our local content producers, and we are still doing it. A couple of our brands, particularly from the Tolerant Group, have identified some local content from the likes of Funke Akindele to the likes of what's it called now? Debbie Odutayo and all of that. You find out that product integration, product in use, and then product display are oftentimes on their content. These are the only way by which we can start. And as we go along too, if there's any need to do a whole lot more, we are more than open and happy with it. But we believe strongly in the local content and the need to support and grow it, because the fact that Nigerians will always want and seek their own. Many of the Nigerians in diaspora seek their appetite towards local content, but the truth of the matter is that wherever platform it is, that's where they move on to. And the moment we begin to develop and strengthen our own local platform, the better and the easier for us.